Welcome to the tea. It's another Saturday, which means that you're hanging out with myself and my incredible co-host, and we're gonna gossip and gosh together, because where else would you rather be at 7:30 p.m.? I am Sarah Coleman, and we're gonna be together for the next half hour, and I am joined by the incredible TV host, Laura Mbata, also supervisor of the streets, also former pageant queen, also just a boss lady. I was about to say another word, but I've been doing this for a while, guys. You can't catch me now.
In general, I'm your favorite masker of depression by doing all things that really have no business being done. But they
have to be done.
Streets. It's not easy, guys.
Somebody got to do
the
it.
Most, but I have to do it. Someone has to. Let's not jitole. I'm here for you guys.
Yes.
So these streets, they're not safe.
Hey, you guys. So on the whole backbone of the shocking shooting of Migos rapper Takeoff, we decided that we should take a look at all the rappers that we've lost due to violence, like unnecessary violence, if I can say. Because honestly, in most cases, first of all, the guilty party is never caught.
Yes.
And also you just have, it was unnecessary. Like, it's always a situation where it was this, nobody else would have died or been shot in that said situation if it wasn't that they were a rapper.
Exactly. And the thing is, with the way hip-hop culture has taken over across the world, you even hear it with some of the people who sing our own version of hip-hop, whether it's reggaeton or what, there's all this kind of violence which is incorporated in music, where people talk about all this kind of street violence and all that. And you can tell it trickles down,
Oh yeah,
when people are talking about guns, fine, we have our own version of things where people, there was a time when these two gangs were in a fight.
Yes.
And I don't remember the names.
I also don't remember the names. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it became so intense, and I was like, this is not us, it's not in our culture. But because we all live in a society where the internet has made it one big community, it only feels right to talk about it.
It's so crazy because a lot of artists rap and sing about what they know, right? And what they see. So if you have all these young people all singing and rapping about violence, guys, it's society we need to take a look at. It's not these kids' music or they know violence in the home. Maybe that's what they saw. They saw violence and pimps were making the most money. They saw corruption was the way people were coming up and taking their families out of poverty. So how do you expect them to sing about something else? You don't want to. But anyway, we're going to go over a list all the way from the 90s, starting off with Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G., who I think that was like the biggest hip-hop battle and like we ended up losing such incredible hip-hop rappers. Yeah, and just within weeks of each other. So I'll give you guys the dates and all the deets. So we're gonna kick it off in the 90s, as I told you. One of the first hip-hop stars that we ever lost to violence was somebody called Scott LaRock. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's only 25 and he was shot on August 29th, 1987. And then Tupac Shakur, September 13th, 1996, and Notorious B.I.G. literally just the next year in March 1997.
With the Takeoff incident and the Tupac and Biggie situation, guys are like, because what happened was Offset broke off from Migos.
Yeah.
And then it was just
unclear circumstances also, we don't know why.
And then there was only, what's his name? Quavo and Takeoff.
Yeah.
So with violence like that happening so abruptly, there's certain things that you take for granted, like friendships.
Yeah.
Was it worth, the breakup? Because I've seen until like very recently, he hadn't posted anything.
No.
For a while, because what can you say? You guys were not talking.
Exactly.
But of course it affects you. You guys were like family.
He was just promoting his video, but he changed his Instagram pictures to Takeoff once he, I guess it's his way. And then the crazy thing that maybe some of you guys don't know about Migos is these guys are all related to each other. So Quavo is technically Takeoff's uncle, although they related like cousins. And Offset was also one cousin, like removed. So these guys are all relas. They've grown up around each other. Like, I guess that's why Migos worked so well. It was literally DNA making the music. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's so sad and it's never worth it, because even when you hear the little that we know of the story, they were together in a social setting, they were playing dice. Of course, in America, that comes with actual money. But it should have been a very calm, social ha-ha-ha setting, and everyone should have gone home afterwards. But also there's this thing of people get a little upset or get a little worked up about something, and in America, you remove a gun, which resulted in us losing somebody so unnecessarily.
So for me, so my point was, can you imagine if Tupac and Biggie actually didn't have beef and actually decided to make music?
Yeah, because that would have been a fire
like
collab.
for that year, like who was Biggie beefing with? Like, was it worth it? This guy's gone.
It really wasn't worth
all the
it.
the big talk I was making. What was the point?
It would have been a fire tune. Tupac was like a storyteller, a bit more like sad, gloom and gloom, and then Biggie was like, at the party.
Fun time.
Yeah, exactly. So that track would have been so good. It would have been so fire. Now, more recently, there are other rappers that we have lost to violence, which is so sad. There was Sabotage, who was killed in 2003, January. And then there's also Magnolia Shorty. I don't know if you guys remember who that is. Killed in 2010, December 20th. So sad. And then after that, there was Extestacion. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah,
I always used to struggle. Tentashi.
I never used to listen to his music, but of course it's always sad to lose someone.
I never used to listen to his music, but he was everywhere. We used to talk about him on all trending topic shows because there was always so much drama and news.
Hot tea. I know this might be a bit controversial. Imagine all these people left us and then we're left with that Kelly. Like, what are they? Imagine. It's not right.
So Extestacion was shot in 2018, and then Nipsey Hussle, this one.
Oh, this one shook people because he just didn't have beef with anyone. He was just chilling.
It was so unnecessary, and he was literally at his store that he went back to the hood to create so that he could offer jobs. And he had a number of stores, and he was like buying out buildings, like gentrification, but by the people who actually live there.
Who understand what is needed.
And it was such a horrible example because in hip hop culture, they have this thing for you should leave the hood. Like you should get out of it and like never go back because it's unsafe for you. And he was doing the opposite of like, yes, I've made some money. Yes, some of my rap is doing well, but I know the problems that are from where he comes from in LA. And just a jealous, crazy person shot him in front of his shop. So upsetting.
Honestly, living in America, it seems very scary.
Yes!
Because we could just be chilling and then these things happen.
Me, but let me not lie
and
to
I
you
see
guys.
some
You can't
very,
convince me to
just
move.
Call them stupid Kenyans who just decide to show up with these things and feel like it's all fun and games.
No, it's wild. Not. It's very wild.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you also had Pop Smoke, which I thought was so tragic because he was shot in his own home and he was so young. Pop Smoke was 20 and he was shot in February 2020. Very crazy. Houdini, we also lost in 2020 in May. King Von also in November of 2020. Young Dolph in 2021, November 17th. And he was 36 when he was shot. And his was also so crazy. He was like at like those petrol station stores, just stopping to buy something, leaving, and shot by people who had been following him and had decided today's the day.
I sort of appreciate the kind of culture we have in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Or in Kenya in general. It's not as violent as some of these places are because I think people live in extremes of, not poverty, but something of the sort.
Yes.
Where this is a lifestyle and it's okay to live like this.
It's okay to be scared all the time and be on edge all the time. And so everyone should be armed because everybody else is armed and anybody can shoot anybody at the time. You know what they never say is that one gun can't save you from another gun.
Preach to that. Can we get that on t-shirts?
So we both get our guns out on time and we both shoot. So we'll both be shot and we'll both be down. The logic is wanting. Anyway, and then you also had PNB Rock, which was also talked a lot about, which was this year in 2022. He was 30 years old, shot and killed at a restaurant with his girlfriend. So crazy. And Takeoff, like I told you guys. And it was just November 1st, and he died at the age of 28. He's exactly my age.
All these people die in their 20s. And I think your 20s are when you actually make your life, where you actually do the things you dreamed of doing, where you create a path to the life you always wanted to live.
And for most of these people, it was when their careers were at their peak. That's the craziest, because Nipsey, I think, had just been nominated for a Grammy the year before.
This is
Pop Smoke, his career was just taking off. He literally had a whole album they kind of released afterward, because he had pre-recorded all this music and was ready to, be in the world.
This is how I know I'm not that famous. No one is trying to get at me,
I don't want that fame. Please. Now, I don't know. I think the culture is dangerous, like you were saying, because it can come this side. Like here in Kenya, I would say it's probably more politicians that have kind of gotten away with a couple of things. They're our huge celebrities, and we have some things that they just won't get resolved because of the person who shot you or the person who put you in that position. the person who gave you the baby. You know, in Kenya, it's different.
Can we just talk about you guys employed someone who shot someone at a club?
Yeah.
You know, I work with
Not
DJs.
employed, elected.
Imagine.
Like voted. People went and
you still pay
selected
him
that
every month.
person.
You know, it affects me because I actually work with DJs and we talk about this sometimes.
Yeah.
These are people who actually go... You've seen these people in clubs?
Yes.
Play the stupid song, do like this, they act all kinds of ways. He went ahead, shot this guy. This guy couldn't even work for months. I think years now. He hasn't done a
still
gig.
in recovery.
Yeah. And you guys just went ahead and employed him. How? But when rappers are being killed left, right, and center, you're the first people to write RIP or do this.
There's
really
some
need to
high
be
school
held
students
accountable.
here in Kenya that said they're not going to school because they're mourning Takeoff. Like they'll go when they're well and ready.
But your parents will go vote for someone who shot someone at a club.
Also, let's not forget the Embakasi station is where an IEBC officer disappeared from and was found later on no longer. But we're going to take a break.
This is not a conspiracy show.
It's not a conspiracy show, but we like leaving you things to just think about a little bit. And you know who we're talking about, but we'll see you after the break.
Welcome back from the break. This is the tea, and of course, I'm here with a very talented, very beautiful, and you know, multi-faceted Surah Common. Which makes sense. You're multifaceted.
I am.
Surah Common.
I am.
Surah Common is actually just a slang for multifaceted.
For my personality, basically. Surah the common, like any vibes the common.
Vibes are elite.
Vibes are elite always, and you are here on the tea. And just before we took the break, we were talking about rappers, hip-hop stars that we have lost to violence and how sad it is. Also, the reason, I think the craziness with the violence in hip-hop is that it could be anyone. So even these massive hip-hop stars we have today, maybe we wouldn't have had them if they encountered some violence. Would we have Jay-Z? He also grew up in a crazy situation. Would we have Dre? Would we have Snoop Dogg? There's so many rappers we wouldn't have around. Would we have Fat Joe? Like, it would be so sad.
Here's a question. Here's my question. There was a law that was passed in the US where they can't use lyrics used in songs to prosecute, right?
Jay-Z and all his lawyers and guys all over Rock Nation were like, no!
Exactly. So do you feel like it's kind of, you know, when it hits the wall, it has bitten itself?
Right. The snake.
Itself.
The snake is eating its tail. Itself. Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, I do think so. I think it goes back to what we were talking about before the break of art imitates life. It's not the other way around. So I get them defending themselves because there's, in law for other crimes, there's statute of limitations. There's some things you can't be prosecuted for if it's 20 years later, if it's 30 years later. So why should you be able to come get my rap song? Now I'm 50, there's something I sang when I was 21. It's everywhere and it talks about violence. And then there are some rappers that said they said it in the rap song, so they didn't do it in real life. It was a way of like expelling. So your beef, like 50, and they always had beef with other rappers. So they would beef through the music. So you'd hear this one has dropped a diss track, and this other one there's disses in the next song, and like that. But they wouldn't have in-person conflict. They would actually try not be at the same clubs. They wouldn't book concerts together, so they won't be in a space where they'll meet and clash, because of course it will be violent. But yeah, you also have to be smart, man. Protect yourself.
The one thing that came out was in Takeoff's last song.
Yeah.
He spoke about gun violence. Not he referenced it not in stop gun violence. We're partaking in gun violence. Yes. So
it's messy because in America, and correct me if I'm wrong, gang culture is very close to hip hop culture because you're a member of a gang very early on in life. And then they're also the ones that fund you. Initially, who will pay for the music video? Who will pay for your first chains? Who will pay for your first designer? Who will pay for you to even go tour the nearby towns? You're young. A lot of these guys start at 18, 16. You have no money. And probably you're in a situation where your parent can't fund it either. So you need money for studio time, you need money for jewelry, you need money for music video, and you need money for travel to go on tour. Where are you going to get it from? You're going to get it from the gang. So you can't separate from them now when you've made it and you're signed and you have your own team. How?
You owe someone something.
They started you. Yeah. So it's very like, you always have to go back and give credit, and it's messy because then the gang has to keep stuff moving. A lot of hip-hop stars have gone to jail because of that. You're moving, you're still moving drugs, you're still selling guns, and you're like, somebody like T.I., I'm always like, why are you always going back to jail? You've made it, like, you should be so far.
His son is doing exactly what he does. And
family business.
Listen, at some point when you make so much money,
it has to stop.
What's better for your children?
It doesn't. You know? They have no other connections. It's such a supply nini, sabuni, kama Soulja Boy, ataanza wapi?
Can we talk about Soulja Boy? Because he does the most, but he's one of the safest people I've seen.
He is so safe.
He's good. He's beefing on the internet, and that's good
and
enough
that's it.
Him.
Yeah,
that's
he stays indoors.
But the one thing that people maybe are not taking out of this is a lot of these things are facing guys.
Oh, yes.
And it might just be focused in America, but it's kind of like, you know, an in-depth a look, you know.
Yeah, men need to figure out why they're shooting each other.
Exactly.
We just throw shoes and earrings at most.
Me, I'll cry the whole day. And I'll show up tomorrow like nothing ever happened. I have not killed anyone. I've not fought with anybody. I've not thrown any glasses.
I'll roll eyes at the person that I'm mad at, but I'm crying at home.
And
like,
that's
acting as if I'm so strong.
So prioritize your mental health, especially for guys.
Yeah.
And for the people in Kenya who actually, you know, live this kind, who want to be part of this kind of lifestyle. It should be...
It'll end your life young. That's the only guarantee you have, which is so sad. Yeah. But now we want to move on to happier things, which is Style Sport, our segment where we look at fashion, our favorite things happening in the world of clothing and other things. And we want to bring it back home because we want to talk about local influencers that just make us so happy with the way they dress.
Foina.
Hey. Foina is the hair, is the makeup, is dress, and then she also goes through phases. Have you noticed? So she'll be doing the corset thing, she'll be doing the corset thing for a while. Right now she's in like a slit, cafes, kavi, something.
You know, she's always giving me tips on how I should actually feel like, you know, my style sense should be. You know, like if it's a season for corsets, you get all
rock the corset
exactly,
season.
And then you go into the
whatever next season is. Sometimes people have a feather season, ruffle season. Anita's in her ruffle season right now and we're here for it.
Let's talk about Anita again. Guys,
honestly, we can talk about her all day. Anita. No, Anita, this show is not for you. This one's for the others.
We've already dedicated a show.
We've dedicated too much.
You're not, this is not good enough for you.
Anita, you're going to have to settle, okay? But I completely agree with you. I think she's killed it and she always looks good. And she's one of those people who you can tell she thinks about every single event, look, outfit. I'm sure she's gotten dressed rushed at once, but for Ina, there's always a plan. And I appreciate that.
Oh, yes. From the hair, especially with the Darling event, I love what she did with the braid on the
braid and the dress.
Everyone was like, you know, the braids are supposed to be on the head.
Who said?
The braids are supposed to be on the head.
Who said? Foina said, what are these rules? I don't like them.
I make my own rules.
Another girl that makes her own rules, and I really love her, she's come out of the woodworks very recently, is Temina.
Oh, yes. Temina Stemo.
Yes. That's her art.
She's so cute.
She's super cute. I love her style. I don't even know where she finds some of these clothes because I know she shops mainly maybe in the 251. I know she buys stuff online. But her style is so unique. And I think she's like an African e-girl.
Oh, yes.
I'm here for it. Like you 100% feel she's African. You 100% she's black. But she has such a quirky, fun, like e-girl style. And I'm here for it.
Me too. Big shout out to Mina Semo. She makes me feel like I missed on a phase in my life because I used to love leg warmers and I feel like that would be so cool.
Like to just still wear that.
Yeah.
Even like the pants, she wears these massive cargo pants. Me sijui labda ni body shape. Hizi hips zangu ndo zinafaa kwenda chini kidogo, but I can't find pants that fit me like that, Tamina. I need help.
Can we talk about her hair?
Yeah.
When she does the fro.
The ginger fro, and she colored her hair ginger now. She committed fully. I love it. She looks so good. And then it works with all her looks.
Stop it. Stop being so cute.
Yeah, so cute.
Stop it.
You're so cute.
Even just saying it, that's enough. Stop being so cute.
There is, let's go to the male side. I think a fan favorite of mine is Elim Wanda. I think he's so consistent.
Honestly, I'm never gonna lie. I think that's the only person I know
who actually does male fashion like really, really well, right? He's so consistent.
He puts himself out there.
He has the blueprint for all Jamas to follow. Let me not lie with it. Just start with what Elim is doing. You'll find your way. You'll find yourself. But I think his style is very crisp, and he has a history. He used to own a fashion store. He used to sell clothes before he became a fashion influencer himself. But you're doing excellent work.
And there's a time you mentioned modest fashion.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know if I'm saying this name right, but I think it's
Yaksta.
That one.
Yaksta. I know who you're talking about.
That one.
Always
She
has
has
a
7 in her
hijab
name.
on. Yes, she has a 7 in her name.
Cute. Can we talk about people being cute on the internet?
And you know what she's made me realize? That I can actually wear a head wrap and wear shirts every day of the week and look cool and look fire.
Look so fantastic.
Look fire. Simplicity.
Listen, me, if you wear those nylon things, those polyester dresses that just stretch from here to here.
Samoy Avenue. Isn't that
Me, listen, I know you can't afford it. You're right. I can't. But I don't even want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Because we don't want to wear that.
Can we just wear things? You know, sustainable fashion.
Yes.
Affordable fashion.
Yes.
And it's actually good quality. And if you're looking for style inspiration, this is exactly why we're telling you about these influencers today.
Ooh, speaking of which, Auntie Nemo also went to school with her, by the way.
I tell you.
Guy, Auntie Nemo, atukuchomwa na the same Sanya Roiro, mbona skin yake inakaanga different?
It's
and
like,
I follow the skincare routine you posted.
Let me tell you, this girl wakes up in the morning, drizzles honey on her face,
honestly,
and she walks out.
And goes, just goes
every time I
wild.
see her on my screen, direct.
And she wears athleisure so well. Like I saw her in a tennis skirt and I was like, everybody should be able to wear these. Everybody. She looks so good. Oh, and Ellen Wende's sister. I'm trying to remember, what's her handle?
I don't know, but I've only seen her like maybe once or twice.
I'm gonna find it again.
Let's talk about Auntie Nemo because I don't like this girl for 2 major reasons. She makes me feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm cool.
She's
it's
so
effortless,
sweet.
And so can you. But I know me.
If it's any consideration, the effortlessness, she actually works so hard. If that helps at all.
Listen, Auntie Nemo is cancelled for one reason only. You have no business looking better than the rest of us. Please and thank you.
Nemo, I'll see you for lunch and I will let you know.
We'll tell her she's cancelled.
About my friend's problem.
Anyway, guys, that's all the time we had for you. We have these episodes on YouTube, so you don't have to miss out on anything. But since we started a year ago...
I found her. I just thought it was such an injustice if you finish this show without saying it. I am Nikorote. That's Elim's sister's handle, and they're both doing such a fantastic job.
So, guys, go ahead, link up with us on our social media handles.
Yes.
That is at KTN Home on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we're also on TikTok, guys.
Please.
And the hashtag is #KTNTheT. Follow Surah Common on all her social media platforms as Surah Common. Listen, you might see her face on another person's name, but the face is similar. It's just the name. If you find the name,
you know for sure it's the right one.
You'll find me at Laura Mbata Laura, The Variation Works. And let's meet up next week, same time, same place.
Ciao.